Alright, so welcome to our U.S. government class today, Ethan. Unfortunately, you're the only student that showed up today.
Yes.
I don't know where everybody else is, but you know what? The class will go on. So for our bell ringer today, we're going to fill out our KWL worksheet. Do you remember doing that before?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so we're going to do what we know, what we want to know, and what we learned. And so for the first 5 minutes of class, I want you to start by filling out and writing down everything you can think of what you know about citizens' obligations and responsibilities. Okay?
Okay.
So anything you can think of, any kind of responsibilities you can think of that citizens have, any kinds of obligations you can think of. And if you get done with that, I want you to move over to the other side and write down any questions you might have. Write down anything you want to know about citizen responsibilities or obligations, okay?
Okay.
And I'll let you know when 5 minutes is up.
Okay. You want me to do this whole thing in 5 minutes?
Just worry right now, focus on what you know, or what you
Okay.
think you know about citizen
But
responsibilities.
I think I know too.
Just what you know. And then if you get done with that, so it looks like you're doing pretty good. After writing a few more, you can write down
Oh.
things that you want to know, things you want to learn, that you hope you're going to learn about today in class. Looks like you're making a pretty good list there. And you got about 3 more minutes, so don't feel rushed. Just take your time, write down whatever comes to your mind. You probably don't want to call people bad names on
Oh.
your papers.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, probably don't want to call them bad names, but
The rest of the world's really greedy.
it's alright. You know, as a senior in high school, you're getting to that point where you're starting to understand politics a little bit, and maybe you have those feelings, who knows. So you got about 2 more minutes to think about anything else that comes to your mind. Anything at all that you want to learn about citizen obligations and responsibilities.
Responsibilities like citizens, right?
Yeah, of
Oh, yeah,
citizens. Yeah. Just being a member of the United States. I knew you had more in there. Good job, that's a good one. Very good one.
Yeah. I know that one.
Okay. And just take about 45 more seconds, write down any last questions you have or anything else you know. Some really good questions you got on your list there. I can tell they're good already. Polygamy, huh?
Mhm.
Oh, that's interesting.
I heard a lot of people doing it over in Utah these days.
Oh, yeah? We'll definitely try to talk about that in class today. All right, looks like our 5 minutes is up. Very good. Looks like you got a good list there. So what we're going to do now is something called a think, pair, share. So you've already had some time to think about what you know about citizen obligations and responsibilities. So now we're going to take some time to get with a partner and share what we learned. And since it looks like still no other students are showing up, I'm gonna be your partner. Okay? So do you want to go first?
What are we doing?
We're gonna take 5 minutes and we're gonna talk about things that we know or we think we know
Oh,
about
yeah,
citizen
yeah.
responsibilities. So you go first, and then I'll share some of the things that I thought.
Well, I think it's our responsibility as citizens to vote. I just thought of that with the election the other day in our community. We suffer the consequences if we don't do that.
Well, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I would have put that on my list too, voting. I
Yeah.
think that was really good. What else did you put on your list?
Cleaning. Cleaning up. If people don't clean in their communities and if they just leave it all a pigsty, then horrible,
Yeah.
disgusting,
Yeah.
disgusting place. It's gonna be like London or whatever it is, where it's got like 5 feet of trash, and rats in it. And,
People going on strikes and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. What's this one you put here about the president?
Well, that kind of goes back to voting. I mean, if we don't vote our opinion, you may get someone in there that you strongly disagree with, like you see on my paper.
Yeah, I can tell you don't really like President Obama very much.
No,
Yeah.
no, definitely not.
Yeah.
And like working too. I mean, if nobody works, then there's no economy, and then everything goes. We gotta work, and there's those people that just rely on the government, things like that. They're hurting us because debt just keeps getting bigger, things like that. So we definitely need to work and things like that. Being responsible, things like living responsibility,
Yeah.
with working, not doing drugs. Like I put on there, doing stupid stuff with your life, living a good, responsible life.
Yeah. I like this one that you put, not smoking. That's actually one that I think I put on my list too. Maybe some people wouldn't put it on their list. But I think that we have a responsibility not to do harmful things because they could harm other people as well, not just ourselves.
Exactly. You're out there toking it up in the parking lot, little Junior walks by, he's going to get away for that, and there you go, his lungs are bad and he dies,
Yeah.
So we're not good.
Yeah, so we should, I think, definitely be really careful about that. Do you think that we should obey the laws? I put that on my paper.
Yeah, I mean, that goes back to being responsible, things like working and, things like that. Laws are put into perspective for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
The speed limit's there for a reason. Obviously, the people that make it ain't stupid. They know what they're doing, even though to us it may seem stupid. Oh, why'd I gotta go 55? But really, it's there for a reason.
Yeah, so you think we should obey the speed limit?
Yeah.
Do you obey the speed limit?
Sometimes.
I don't know, why do you think that is? Why do we sometimes obey?
I don't know, for me, I just get out of control and sometimes there's speed. And,
Yeah.
I mean, I slow down as soon as I realize I'm speeding, but
For sure.
and
I know you do, Ethan.
sometimes the adrenaline's good,
No, I think you're just very true.
But I mean, we should obey the laws, and me and everybody, no one's excluded. I mean, unless there's like a cop going to like emergency,
Yeah.
He's excluded sometimes.
Yeah. Do you think we should take care of our families? I kind of think we should.
Well,
I
yeah,
think us
definitely.
Citizens should take care of things that are theirs.
Like we see a lot of these people these days, not, especially a lot of dudes out there that go and they be immoral with all these women and they just abandon them. Well, that's not right either. You're just abandoning people. You need to take care of those people, your family.
Yeah, I agree. I think you should take care of what's yours. And as much as I hate it, I think you should pay your taxes as well.
I definitely hate that too. They take like $300 out of my paycheck. And,
You're working?
Yeah, I got a
Oh,
full-time
yeah.
job, so going back to being
You have a
responsible.
full-time job and you're going to the 12th
Yeah.
grader? How are you doing that?
It's pretty intense.
I guess you are 18 now.
I usually work until usually around like 10, 11
Wow.
at night.
That's
So it's pretty good though. I got money, get the chicks and the babes, and money and stuff. So it's good.
Really?
Got a nice truck.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So you got a job, you got a truck.
Got a truck, got the girls, and anything else.
Do you think you should take care of the girls?
Yeah, I take care of them.
I think that's part of a citizen's
Right.
responsibility.
That's right. Uh-huh.
Awesome. Good discussion. All right. Well, let's get back together as a class now. It looks like the class is me and you still, Ethan. So we'll stick with that. I wanted to have just a a quick class discussion about some of the things that we know. Does anybody want to share something that they know about citizen responsibilities?
I'll share.
Go ahead, share something, Ethan.
Well, like we talked about before, I really think it's important that we take care of ourselves, including, that way, we don't hurt those around us, with our health, drinking, smoking, like me and Mrs. Gilling talked about in our group discussion. So
that's really good. Did anybody else have anything else they wanted to share? Anything that they learned, Ethan?
Yeah, I would love to share. I'm been pretty quiet over here all class. I shared voting in mine because it's important that we do that because people in the community can suffer the consequences of whether it be like healthcare or whatever it may be, and if you don't vote for the right people, someone's going to get in there that's going to mess everything up and try to fix things that ain't broken, and things like that.
Very true. And one of the groups that I was with Ethan over here, we talked a little bit about taxes too, as well. So we talked about, like Ethan said, about voting and about making sure not to do harmful things. But we also talked about paying our taxes and how, although we hate it, Ethan's got his full-time job working really hard for his money so he can have his truck and his girl. We still got to pay those taxes. So I think even though we know we have certain responsibilities, we still have some questions about them. So what are some things that you want to learn, that you want to know after starting this unit?
I want to know about like a little bit more like what like religion, if we type more of people getting religious like into the public, like I mean obviously it's in the public, but like what I'm saying, like more people are religious, like how that would affect our voting choices, the way we work. Obviously we're taking care of ourselves with like drinking and smoking. I guess not all religions believe in drinking and smoking, which talks about that in the Bible, so that's really weird. But yeah, so
awesome. I'm gonna make a list over here on this imaginary whiteboard that you can't see. I'm gonna make a list of these things right here. What other things do you want to know? Hopefully we'll address that today.
More about like the government, like what roles do the government have in affecting us and the way we live? Because obviously right now they're really not doing much. So
okay, so we want to know citizens or how the government affects our obligations.
Exactly.
Okay, that's a good one. We should cover that today too. What else? Can I get two more things that we want to learn about citizen responsibilities?
I want to know, like, this is the way I've always been, like, how things in the past might have affected our responsibilities today. Like, for example, like, slavery way back in the day. Like, if slavery was still going on, like, how would that affect us today? Things like that. How that would change.
All right. I never actually thought about it like that before. That's a good thing for us to discover. We'll go ahead and take a look at that, too. All right, one more.
Drugs.
What about drugs? Like, do we have a responsibility to
maybe like stop somebody doing drugs? Or like why Steve over there in class? I know he does weed and stuff. Like
Steve's not here. We don't want to talk about people.
I want to know why he does that stuff. And why isn't he being just a responsible citizen?
Okay. So kind of two responsibilities there, I guess. Responsibility to maybe not do those drugs.
Yeah.
But then another responsibility to help others. Do you think that's a response? So do you want to learn more about what our obligations are towards helping other citizens?
Exactly.
Okay. Oh, definitely. Hopefully we'll do that now. Well, it looks like we've got a great list to start with. And again, I want you to keep these lists with you. We're going to refer back to them at the end of the class. We're going to write down the things that we learned. But really good job getting started. What we're going to do now is we're going to move into a jigsaw. Do you remember when we did jigsaw before in the class?
I use that at work sometimes.
You definitely would do that. Use that at work, or you might put it together. So what we're going to do, I have a worksheet that I'm going to hand out. And each person or each group is going to get part of the worksheet. It's a list of different responsibilities and obligations that you have as citizens. So each group's only going to get one. I want you to, as a group, read your rule or obligation. Write down on a piece of paper what that rule is, and then I want you to write down why it's important. Do you think you can do that?
Okay.
Awesome. And then after we've done that, we're going to get back in, we're going to get in other groups, and we are going to talk about the different articles that we had. So for instance, let's say Ethan has obeying the law, and that's what his group's rule is. And then on the other group, they have taxes. So what you're going to do is you're going to get together after you've discussed it in your main group. You guys have all broken it down and discussed obeying the law, and this group over here has discussed obeying taxes or paying your taxes. Then the one person from the obeying the law group and the other person from the paying the taxes group, they're going to get together and they're going to share what the law is that they talked about, or the rule is that they talked about in their group, and then they're going to give the reason why it's important. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Perfect. So let's go ahead, let's get in our groups, and then we'll move on from there, all right?
Sweet.
Sweet. And we'll be in a group since we're the only two people here.
Awesome.
All right.